Hello, my amazing peeps. This is Coco, and I would like to welcome you to our second recorded podcast of Coco Unapologetic and Raw titled, When Rejected, Fish Much? Let's talk about a word that we know, a word that some of us have experienced and even caused us pain. The word is rejection. Sounds familiar? It's a word that I know very well myself. I think that many of us that struggle with obesity at some point in our life have dealt with rejection. Is rejection inevitable? Absolutely not. It's a word that will either make you or break you into pieces. It's a word that holds so much power, and only those with resiliency can use it to give them fuel to achieve their fitness goals. So what happens when rejection finds us? How do we bounce back? How do we stay laser focused on the ending goal? I'd like for us to look at a term I refer to as fishing. Do you fish much? Before I define what fishing is, I want you to picture a fisherman in a boat out in the middle of the sea. After many failed attempts of casting out his net into the sea that he knows very well, he decides to move on to a deeper sea, a wider sea, and throws a huge net not knowing what he will catch, but hoping deep inside that whatever it is will be better than what was at home. Can you visualize the fisherman? Can you picture his sadness and hopelessness and willing to settle for anything? So you're probably asking, why am I using a fisherman analogy? Well, let's go back to the term fishing. When things don't go our way and we experience rejection, some people internalize it so deep that it leaves them feeling empty and sad. While some might easily move on and keep on grinding, statistically, the majority of humans just don't. The majority of us start fishing after numerous rejections. When our family stops rooting for us or doesn't support our weight loss journey, when our man doesn't notice our beauty or worth, when our job doesn't appreciate us enough, all these forms of rejection leave us feeling empty, lonely, and yearning for more. Because when we casted our nets to our family, friends, and significant others, making our wants well known, yet receive nothing in return in the form of moral support, verbal accolades, and love, we either tough it out or move on to another sea and try to fish there. So what happens when we go to another sea to fish? Well, you have to understand that when the decision is made to finally go cast your nets at another sea, it's because the rejection one has experienced at this point has definitely left us feeling hopeless, heartbroken, and depressed. These feelings can leave us feeling vulnerable and weak and desperate to get what we need. It is that desperation that alters our perspective, and when we cast that net, it makes it difficult to differentiate the quality of the fish we are receiving. While before being broken, we might have known the healthy from the sick fish, at this point, any form of love, accolade, or praise will do to help us survive the journey. I'm sure some of you are like, what's the issue with getting love from new fish? Well, the problem is that some of those fish are disguised as friendly fish when in reality they're vicious sharks ready to bite. So let me remove the analogy of fishing. Imagine you're 30, 2 kids, and you find out that the love of your life has been unfaithful. You realize that some of it had to do with your weight gain. You're destroyed. Then you seek comfort and understanding from your family only to be rejected because they don't get why you're doing what you are. You seek support from your friends, but they're busy with their own problems. Another heartbreak. Your coworkers who supported you all along don't know how to respond to your recent transformation, and it soon turns ugly and hostile. Blow after blow, you sit there on your social media and start fishing. Now, at first, you don't realize you're fishing because you're just posting your feelings. But soon enough, the encouragement comes in. You're hot. Screw them. I'm here. You're beautiful. Go get it. You're doing good. All of a sudden, you sit there and realize you're not alone. You feel better and carry on, but the high of those words wears off quickly and you post again and again. And time again, you get what you need. Soon enough, you start unplugging from the real world because the truth is, who needs a man, family, and friends when you have 1,000 cyber friends rooting you on? But over time, you lose momentum. The comments are not like they used to be, so you start pushing yourself to post things you normally would have never fathomed or considered. And this itself becomes a vicious cycle. You keep pushing. It becomes an addiction to push and push the envelope, leaving you open to catch sharks, much stronger than the ones you ran from or left behind. I know this. I lived it. That 30-year-old is me. I was super sick emotionally, drained and love emptied. Lonely, I got on my boat and left to a new sea and casted my net. I met some great people, but I also met some sharks that became my friends. And while I was vulnerable, I shared every personal, deep, intimate detail of my journey and pain. And they deeply hurt me in return. I met other sharks who saw the beauty in me, who saw my worth, and made promises, many promises to me, only to leave me in a bigger mess and heartbroken beyond anything I had ever experienced. Bite after bite, shark after shark, fake friend after fake friend, I stopped fishing. I decided to work on myself and self-worth. I realized that I was valuable and didn't need anybody or anything to give me validation. I went to therapy to address the root issue of why I felt the need to hear praises and accolades, and started working on my self-worth and on building my foundation firmly so that when rejection came knocking at my door, I could say thank you for not sharing and move the heck on. This has taken a lot of time, my friends. You know, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. It's an everyday battle that is far from being mastered. I am blessed to be at a point where even though I don't fish anymore, when sharks come disguised as fish, I can easily identify them and pull back. I have a long way to go and the bite marks are still there. But I have learned to let go and keep pressing on. When my own people don't want what I have to offer, I work on staying positive and not take it personal. Instead, I keep it moving and press on. So we're going to end this session with a few questions. Are you fishing? If so, what are you fishing for? What do you need? What would make you happy? Have you been bitten by a shark? Are you still being bitten by a shark and are too afraid to release it because you don't want to be alone? How far are you willing to take things to get what you need? All right, this one is deep, my friends. I'm going to let all that sink in. Thanks for joining us, and feel free to print the reflection questions in the blog and answer them. Stay positive and remember that I'm rooting for you. You got this, remember? Mind over heart, mind over matter, and mind over everything. Stay blessed, folks, and don't forget to tune in to our next Coco Unapologetic and Raw session. Let's keep this movement going. Have a great one.